Hey guys, what's going on, everybody? Today just continuing my grind of Iyslander. Nothing really special. So we'll just go ahead and jump in and start playing some games. I'm hoping that the games look good today. I'm definitely locked in on Iyslander for ProQuest, and I feel pretty good about it. I've been getting a lot of games in and have a lot of practice with the deck at this point. I've probably got, if I had to guess, I'd say somewhere around 150 games total. I'm trying to think. So let's see. There's 12 on each page. 12, 24. And 2 pages is 48. So that's 60. So right now I'm at 64 games just from Talishar. I've played it at probably 7 armory events. So 7 and 4 is 28. So there's 80 some, and then the amount of games I've tested with it, probably somewhere in the 20 to 40 range. So I don't know. This list is just so solid, and it just feels really good. PQ testing, more like PQ destruction. I wish I had the confidence you had, man. I wish I was rolling with that much energy into ProQuest season. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to find games today. It normally doesn't. Normally that's one thing I like about Talishar is you find games pretty quickly. And good luck. Alright, Dash, Dromai, Phi, Iyslander, Oldham, which means Bravo, also, because they're basically the same sideboard plan. Take out Blizzards, Hypothermia, take out a Brain Freeze and a Polar Blast. Seems good to me. Wrecking them hoes. Oh, what's going on, Bryson? How you been, buddy? I haven't talked to you in a while, man. Makes sense that they want to go first, honestly. They want to set up a little bit. So we're playing against Bravo, and we're going second. This is one of the few matchups I would choose to go first in, honestly, because it gives me the ability to try to get a Frost Hex or an Insidious Chill or something into play to try and set up a little early. The earlier setup we have against Bravo, the better, because Bravo puts on a lot of pressure, and Iyslander just does not block very well strategically. So, winners want the ball? Yeah, absolutely. No, that's the truth. So this is going to be for 8. So I think we block Brothers in Arms. I can pitch the Insidious Chill. I would rather have the Frost Hex, and we'll just go ahead and play Sink Below here. I'm going to keep the Frost Hex. I want that for sure. They only have AB1, which is interesting. So, played against a Bravo the other day that had AB3. It was actually really interesting. Let's play Frost Hex. Let's Waning Moon our opponent, and then we'll Arsenal the Wounded Bull for next turn. I think this is the best setup and the most efficient use of all of our cards. Go Ice Bolt and Polar Blast, and then Arsenal this. Still need to learn this game. Hard to watch it when I have no idea what's going on. That's fair. I get that, honestly. That's my boomer advice for the day, that winners want the ball when the game's on the line. Listen, I think it's solid advice if you want the truth. This screams pummel, but my opponent also just might be trying to play around things, so having 2 attacks in one hand is not good. So we'll go to 37, and then if they don't have the pummel here, we'll take 2 and go to 35. Sigil? All right, well, Sigil's going to make it tough. Wow, double Sigil. Okay, so they just didn't have the pummel. Ah, all right. Well, there's only one more left in the deck, so there's that. I'm going to pitch stack Ice Eternal here. This is definitely going to be a second cycle style of game. We always get back around to our pitch stack here, so we'll throw 8 and see what our opponent does. Jeez. Okay. So, I mean, this hand is probably just best served as... I'm going to take 5 here. Yeah, I mean, like, again, we're taking 11 to serve 13 here, and we're also going to get to Waning Moon them on their turn on their turn right now, so it's a little good. I mean, it's not a great trade up because Bravo puts on more pressure than we do, but hey, Bryson, if you're still in the chat, man, I was talking to Natty Ice the other day, and he was talking about wanting to learn this. We should have like a day where we all get together and like kind of and hang out. Like we can play this and like go to dinner or something like that. Me and him were talking about hanging out and getting together and doing dinner and stuff. So they go to 37. Did they? They did not put a card on the bottom? Bizarre. Sounds like a good time. Yeah, it'd be fun, man. I was like, we haven't hung out since you guys moved into your new house. We need to like get together and do dinner one night. So this is probably just going to be a block with Ironhide Gauntlet and a couple of cards hand. Like, oh, this is going to be scary. Yeah, this is going to be very scary. Yeah, this is tough. So I can block 3, 5, 7 and take 4. I could block with a Tunic and keep it all here. I'd take 3, I go to 21, but I wouldn't have Tunic. That just feels wrong. So I think my best play is to block Ice Vein and just pray to God I don't keep the Heart. Like, the Heart is the one thing I don't need to keep here. But I think I have to block here. Alright, well, that was like probably their scariest turn, honestly. Crippling Crush is like such a good card. There's so much value in that card. So it's not super likely, but we might just... So this is stifling their turn. So this is all they're going to do. Well, they're probably going to pitch their 2 cards to make a Tectonic Plating. Well, no, they want to Arsenal the Spinal Crush. We can block 5 here. And then I get to pitch Blue Ether Ice Vein, play Red Ether Ice Vein fused with Ether Hell, and then I can activate Amulet of Ice to get rid of 2 cards from their hand, and then I have some damage to push through on their turn. I don't know. This doesn't feel great so far. They pitched a Spinal Crush. Huh. Because I imagine they're going to pitch a blue here, take 4. I'm going to go ahead and activate Amulet. Get rid of another card here. Okay. So wow, this is tough. I could pitch the Ice Vein to play Ether Hell. And this is for 10. I could pitch the Ice Vein. I could pitch the... Did I sell out of Magic? I kept Burn, and I kept Mono Red in Pioneer. That's the only 2 decks that I have left. So, I didn't completely sell out, but I got rid of most of my stuff. Are you playing at that team tournament at Richards on the 22nd or the 23rd or whatever day it is, like a couple weeks from now? Well, there's the Frost Hex I want to see. Okay, I mean... This is tough. No, I didn't want to play in the Pauper seat. Was that like the seat that like people offered for you to play in or whatever? God, so block 3, take 5, go to 6, but I get to leave Crown up this way. I can block here, pitch Energy Potion to play Frost Hex, and then pitch Cold Snap to play this, and then try to take some cards on their turn if they go for like a Seismic Surge or something. I could also just play the Ether Ice Vein here on my turn, and then put the Frost Hex into play on their turn, and that way we're stripping a card from their hand. Has a higher chance of making their hand more awkward. So... they just took 3 and discarded a card. Oh, we'll go ahead and put some more damage through here. Yeah, this is a trap waiting to happen. So the bad news for me is that if they have the pummel here, it doesn't matter one way or the other. So I can block 6. I block 6, take 4, go to 2. Or I could overblock. So I kind of like block 6 and then pitch the Ice Bolt to play Fighting Spirit, because that puts me back to 3. Yeah. And then I get to serve some damage, which they have no more equipment to block with. They might just take this and go to 13. I'm not sure. Yeah, so that's pretty good. So this is for 11. I mean, my hand blocks 12. Like, maybe I'm just happily take the reset here. Because, I mean, there's no way for me to block with my equipment and really use this to get out of this turn. So I think I'm forced to... I think now I'm in the spot where I'm forced to take the wash here. Guess he didn't activate Bravo to play around a Frostbite. Was probably a smart decision on his part. And I guess he could have just hammered. Yeah, I mean, there's no way to... Because I need a card to play this. Like, I can't block 6. I just die. And I think if I can't play something or really do anything, I don't see a point to, like, taking any amount of damage to keep a card here. And this hand sucks. Alright, so I can't be pummeled, so that's cool at least. I really want to get this Frost Hex into play, but my hand is not aligned in any way for me to do so. So I can block Ether Ice Vein, Crown, and Sink Below, and then come in for 7. I think that's the most efficient use of my hand. I mean, I guess another option is they block with 2 cards and take 1 and go to 12, or they just go to 6. And then if they go to 6, they are within serious range of dying. Because if they have 6, we have to have 8. And I think we can accomplish that because they've already played all 3 sigils. I guess I could put the frosting on the bottom and try to find something better. Maybe it's the Frost Hex I'm putting away because the Frost Hex has not done me any good. We'll put this on the bottom and see what we find. Emeritus Scolding is very good, especially with Tunic up. It gives us the ability to try and win the game here. We'll put this on the bottom, and we'll come in for 7. If they go to 6 here, we are within scary close range of winning the game. They make the smart decision and go to 12. So, pitch, Cold Snap, play Emeritus Scolding. They take 6, go to 6. And then I have to block with Insidious Chill, Ether Ice Vein. Put Ice Eternal in my arsenal. Or it's pitch... Pitch Insidious Chill, block Ice Eternal, Ether Ice Vein, and then Arsenal the Cold Snap. And then they're still at 6 this way. I mean, there's not a line where they're just dead here, right? Like they go to 6 here, and then I have... this, yeah, there's just not a line where they're just dead, unfortunately. Arsenal the Cold Snap, and it gives me an extra look at cards to try and win the game. I have to have 8, which means I'd have to have a red Ice Vein and Waning Moon here. So it's probably best just to give myself an extra shot here without taking any damage. Well, none of these cards are what we wanted to see. That Frostbite might be just enough to mess up their turn. It's hard to say. Let's see if they prevent any. I mean, they don't have to here, but I think the next RCQ is Pioneers, so you definitely need to play in it. Oh, when is it, dude? That's awesome. Are you talking about like the next local one or like the next like one in general? The next one at Richards is Pioneer. That would be awesome. They go for the pummel here, I just have the sink below. Like them going for the pummel here would honestly be awesome. They did. And then the Ether Hell's just enough to kill them. They take 1, go to 2, and then they're dead. To the Waning Moon here. I have no idea how this deck continues to do it, but it just continues to do it. Wow. Like, we didn't even win with Frost Hex. We just chipped in and blocked and did what we could. Yeah, my opponent didn't even say good game after that one. Like, they're probably pissed. Like, I don't know how we won that game. Like, Iyslander just keeps winning games that it shouldn't win. Like last night I played, like, me and Blake did some, like, off-camera testing last night when I was playing against him, and he was playing Doranthia, and I was playing Iyslander, and he went up 32-10 in one game, and I still won. Like, and I genuinely don't know how it keeps happening. Like, Iyslander just kind of feels like cheating. Let's see. Blue Post RCQ is going to be Pioneer. Oh, that's awesome. I'll have to come play with that. I'll have to come play at that one. That would be fun. I don't know if Mono Red's still viable at all, but it would be cool to come play. What is the House of Cards? So the House of Cards is the sponsor for the stream, and they are also the name of the team that I play on. Me and a couple of my buddies started a team, and he happens to own a TCG store, and so we're kind of like we're using his store as a sponsor for our team, and so I part of the package of having him sponsor the team was having him also sponsor me as a streamer, and so this is like my part to him. I mentioned him in my videos, and I keep his logo up while I'm streaming. I forget to put it up sometimes, but I mean, it's not like it's the end of the world. Salas is pretty cool about everything. I don't remember how much we were down at one point, but it felt good to win that game, honestly. Hi, and good luck. Briar, Dromai, Phi, Iyslander, Oldham, Viserai. It says 67 cards in this matchup, and I just, for the life of me, I cannot understand that. Like, I don't really know where the 67 comes from. I honestly feel like it's kind of wrong. Like, maybe that's just my lack of experience here. I am going to cut the energy potions because they feel like a lot. And I think the Frost Hexes don't seem very good. And I think we can cut 2 Ice Eternals because we have quite a bit of blues in the deck. So the use of Eluvian Constellus is actually really cool in this matchup, and I really like that. Alright, so let's see. Talishar playing against Viserai, and I'm going second. Which is, it's so funny because people always pick to go first when I really want to go second anyway. Now, like, I understand why they pick to go second, because if they let me go first, I get to do some things, and then I get to have an arsenal. Like, so it's a lose-lose for them. Someone named Silas is good in my book. Yeah, I bet they are, man. How is little Silas? Amplify, deathly duet. I'm gonna pitch Cold Snap here. Being able to save off of any amount of arcane here is just good for us. Like, the more the merrier kind of thing. So I think we're just throwing 7. The only blocking equipment they have here, well, they have Spellbound Creepers, but they're not going to block with that very early, is Ether Ironweave. That's something they're happy to block with. I think I'm going to throw the Ether Hell here, because Channel Lake Frigid frees up a resource that allows me to block with Brothers in Arms pretty freely. And then being able to pitch whatever extra blue I might have to the Rune Chance is really good. So, gonna play Channel Lake Frigid. I'm probably gonna keep the Scar for a Scar here. I don't see myself needing to block with it. I guess maybe activating Constellus. Well, I guess I'm trading 3 for 4. Well, I guess I'm trading 4 for 4 because I'm preventing a damage and I'm attacking and I'm Constellusing. I'm waning mooning them for 3. So it really ends up on how many resources they have left over is really how that lands. So we'll see what they do. So 5 Rune Chants here. I need the Polar Blast to keep Channel Lake around, and I do want to block with the Brothers in Arms. Or is the Brothers in Arms better served by me taking 6 physical and me preventing 4 Rune Chants? This does give me the ability to turn on Scar for a Scar, and then it also gives me the ability to activate Constellus here. So I think that's the correct play. So my opponent makes a Rune Chant, and I take one of those. I'm going to go to 30. I could always Arsenal the Scar for a Scar if I need to here, like if for some reason I don't have Go Again. So it's always an option, but I don't see myself not having Go Again here. I'm going to go to 29, then I'm going to go to 27, and then I'm going to go to 25. Going to go ahead and activate Alluvian Constellus. Waning Moon my opponent down to 30 here because they probably want to arsenal their last card. I mean, my opponent does have AB2, so it's not like the Arcane Barrier is just free or anything, but I put Brothers in Arms on the top of the pitch stack there, closest to the top of the deck. Maybe that should have been the maybe that should have been the Polar Blast there. I don't really think this is a second cycle kind of game, but you never know, it could be. Deathly Duet is a cool card. The fact that they blocked with a card there is awesome because it means we get to leak a damage, we get to keep our Channel Lake, and we're taking an extra card out of their hand, which means their hand is going to be mediocre at best because they'll have 2 cards in their hand and 1 in arsenal. And Viscerai plays 21 blues, I'm pretty sure. Definitely going to target our opponent. I've never actually targeted myself for that. That might be the way to keep Channel Lake around for a 3rd turn, is by peeking yourself. So you pitch a blue to play Cold Snap. You don't draw a card. You Waning Moon. You pitch a card to Coronet, peek yourself, and then you pitch a 3rd ice card. So there is a way to keep Channel Lake around for a third turn without actually using the Stormstriders, which is good to know. Not that I think me using 3 cards is ever going to be worth Channel Lake Frigid there, but it could be. Like, I don't know. It's good information to have. Interesting. My opponent chooses to play Mordred-Tide on a turn where they have 0, like where they have 3 cards. I have access to 3 cards. I was like, that is very surprising. I didn't see where they played Mordred-Tide from, if it was from their arsenal or from their hand, but... They're just going to attack for 4. Is there a way for me to keep... I'd have to... Emeritus Scolding them for 2 on my turn, and then play the... and then pitch this to keep Channel Lake around, and I just don't think that's worth. I think I'd rather block for 3 here. Haven't seen an Ice Vein yet. I do like Hypothermia, though. Hypothermia is a very good card. I think I'm safe to throw 8 here and then Arsenal to Hypothermia. Normally, Amulet of Ice is a very good card to Arsenal because it gives them a Frostbite and it allows me to have setup. But I don't know that I want that in this situation. I don't feel like I'm in control of the game just yet. So if I was in control of the game here, I would definitely be arsenaling the Amulet of Ice to try and just keep my tempo. But with where I'm at in the game, I think Hypothermia is just better. I think it gives me a better shot of taking tempo back here. This also seems like a good hand to play Hypothermia to shut them down. Maybe pitch Frosting to the, or pitch Insidious Chill to the Frostbites, or not the Frostbites, Jesus. Well, there's not going to be any. I'm going to play this now because if they're going to activate Spellbound Creepers... So they make 2, so this is for 4 go again. So I can block 3 here. And then I can block with the Enlightened Strike, pitch Frosting to come in for 7 and gain a life. Or maybe not gain a life. And then I can Arsenal the Insidious Chill to try and set up. Yeah, I'm willing to take 1 here and then take whatever they do after this. I mean, maybe it should have just been go to, like, say no blocks, go to 20, and then I can serve 12, and I gain a life that way. Well, if they choose to block out Mayu Strike, but either way, it's serving 12, and this way I'm only serving 7. But I do get to keep my Insidious Chill, which I do like. I think Insidious Chill has a lot of value, especially in these aggro matchups, because if I draw a Ether Ice Vein on the following turn, then I'm able to... Yeah, they are going to activate Creepers. That's what I thought they would do. So if I put Insidious Chill into play and I draw an Ether Ice Vein on the following turn, then I'm able to... and they're going to crack Ironweave here to come in with Thorn. I mean, they have to crack Ironweave here if they want to come in with anything. If not, they just spent Spellbound Creepers to not deal me any arcane damage. Oh, you're going to lose Creepers off of that? Okay, bet, my dude. So I was going to say maybe it's worth pitching the Insidious Chill here to block the 3 Rune Chance to get a counter on Constellus and save 3 life, but they didn't even force us here. No, setting up the Insidious Chill is game winning. Yeah, dude, Insidious Chill is like such a good card, especially in this matchup. I feel like interesting. LOL. Yeah, their choice was very interesting there. I can't say that I understand their choice to do that. It feels like it would have just been better for them to keep a card to Arsenal. They're just going to go to 14. My opponent's taking a lot of damage here. So this is a tough decision. I think he forgot about the Frostbite. Yeah, he must have. This is an insanely good hand because as long as they're not able to kill me, I'm just able to... I'm able to have a very solid hand here. We put Insidious Chill into play. Mob Sky's Runic Reclamation Meet and Greet. They're probably going to take Meet and Greet if I had to guess. Runic Reclamation was added to hand, so... That's very good for our opponent. I'm going to take the Arcane and go to 22 here. I mean, without the Insidious Chill, like, our hand is less crazy, but still very good. They still have to find a way to play around the Frostbite here. The Chill is held. You know you're going to play it, but information is important. Yeah, I mean, holding the Chill, like, was important there. I guess in my head, I wanted them to have to play around the Frostbite as much as humanly possible there. And that was just a mistake on my part. So I'm basically taking 11 here and going to 11 to deal them 3 Arcane, strip a card, and Arsenal Frostbolt. I guess the other option is block Ether Ice Fane, block Ice Bolt, and then block with Coronet Peak here. Take 4, go to 18. If you want them to play around the Frostbite, you don't just throw it out first thing. You give up your agency by doing so. Okay, no, that's fair. I mean, getting information, like, it was definitely correct to wait there. Runic Reclamation was not a card I was playing around in my head. And they probably would have taken the Meet and Greet there had we waited, which would have been really good for us. So I can go to 11. So, let's see. I think I'm taking this regardless. And going to 18. So, I have 2 options here in my head. I can keep the Insidious Chill by blocking with Ice Bolt and Coronet Peak. And then Arsenal the blue Ether Ice Vein and try to shut their turn down next turn in the middle of their turn. Or I take 7, go to 11, lose the Insidious Chill, deal some damage to them, take some cards from their hand, and then continue to push damage with the Ice Bolt. And the Ice Bolt's good because it allows me to block this, or it allows me to use Constellus. I think staying where I'm at and life total will be... I think this is enough value to block here. Insidious Chill's worth Coronet Peak and the 2 cards in my hand, in my opinion. Have to find a way to try and bail myself out of the situation I put me into. Mauvrion Sky, Swarming Gloomveil, Rune Flash. Probably going to take the Gloomveil if I had to guess. Okay, so this is going to deal me 1 Arcane. Because the problem is I don't have any extra resources. So I can block with the Enlightened Strike. I don't know. Viscerai can have some pretty explosive turns if you just let them go unchecked. I could play a Blizzard here. Like, so... I think max efficiency for the Runic block was AB2, then pay for Gauntlets and Peak block and 3 block. Still keeps the Ice Vein. Max efficiency for the Tunic block was AB2, then pay for Gauntlets. So that's 4, and then block with a 3, and then keep the Ice Vein. Yeah, that would have been more efficient. I would have got more out of that block. Yeah, that would have been better for sure. I think it's worth playing here to shut their turn down. This like almost like ends their turn on the spot. And I can actually pitch. I'm trying to think. So they discarded Deathly Duet. It's down Gauntlets, but it's 2 health and need to buy back tempo. Yeah, so I mean, like, losing the Gauntlets, like, sucks a little bit, but I think your play was definitely more efficient. It blocked a 7 efficiently as opposed to where I blocked 8. And you still, I get to block AB to add a counter to Constellus too, which really changes my turn here because if I am blocking Constellus that way, then this turn I'm more incentivized to use Constellus again because it gives me a free Waning Moon activation. So yeah, I mean, your play was definitely better there. So they pitch a blue. So I like blocking with the Blizzard here. I'm happy to take 3 because I'm going to come in for 5 draw card, and that way I still have a way to arsenal. Okay. Uh-oh. Put myself into a bit of a predicament here. Okay, so there's 2 Rune Chants, 2 more on the back end, so I feel like I've kind of thrown this game away. With the on-hit effect of make 3 more Rune Chants. We'll prevent 1. We'll take 1. Oh, man. Yeah, this has been, the last few turns of this game have been not great. When I say not great, I mean not great for my gameplay. How did he get 2 more Rune Chants? Oh, because it makes him when he attacks. So it makes one for play. Yeah, so no, that's right. And then he's going to come in for 7, and I'm going to go to 6. Oh no, he's just going for it all here. So I'm going to go to 4 here, but they're down to AB1. And on my turn, I'm just going to Arsenal this yellow Ether Ice Vein. I think I can try to make something happen here. Alright, well the fact that it keeps like being 7 is very awkward. So there's definitely no way to kill my opponent here. But I block 6, use Emeritus Scolding to throw Wounded Bull. And then I lose my Insidious Chill, which is unfortunate, but I think it is necessary here. I get to throw 8 here, which does hamper their turn, or it puts them within kill shot range. Because if they take 8 and go to 3, they're just dead. AB1 will not save them from this. And I think most people that have played against Iyslander quite a bit understand that. That if they are... if they're going down to like 6 or less, like you're in like very scary range. The only people I know that are okay taking physical attacks this late in the game like this, and going down to like 5 or 3 or something like that, are people who have like AB3, AB4. Dash is a deck that will pretty consistently go down pretty low. So they take 3, go to 8. Okay, or we're undoing things. That's fine too. So I need 8 here to be able to kill them. I have 7 and I need 8. Or if they go down to 1 resource, I can get them. Or I guess I'm also able to kill them. No. Okay. So So I can go to 1 here and then kill them. They didn't play an attack, so Thorn was never turned on. I just thought about that. I wasn't even considering that as an option, which is even better for us. I think I just need to throw 4 Arcane and pitch this. Because they pitch 1, take 3, and then they prevent 1, take 2. Yeah, they're just dead on the next turn. Plus, I also have Ready through Ice Vein off of Tunic. Or not off of Tunic, off of Stormstriders. Alright, well I played like crap. but we got bailed out here, so that's pretty good. I got bailed out by the deck just being too powerful and this being a good matchup. I would not call this good play by me. I feel like I definitely played very poorly. Yep. All right. Well, thank God for the deck just being good enough to get there, because that was not my play that won that game. Ended the game at 1, and we had 8.22. According to Michael Hamilton, Viserai is a pretty favored matchup. He refers to it as the worst of the two Rune Blades in the current metagame right now. So it just seems like a favored matchup based off what he told me. All right. 2-0, we press on. Let's see if somebody's joined this game or not. Yeah, normally by the time, like after I sit there for a minute and after I like let it like load in, I've always like missed my window to like join the game. I mean, I'm happy to run it back if my opponent wants to. Briar, Dash, Dromai, Phi, Iyslander, Oldham, Viserai. And we took out the energy potions last time because they seemed... And we took out Frost Hexes and 2 Ice Eternals. I mean, I haven't played a lot against Viserai, so it is good to get some reps in against the deck. Let's see. Well, I'm going to wait before I write all this down before see if my opponent leaves or not. It's definitely good to get the reps in because even if it's not something I'll see a ton of, among the 5 pro quests I'm going to go to, I will probably see it at some point. So, and the funny part is I might not. I may never see Viserai. Honestly, like just because like it's one, it's not super popular, and 2, I don't really think it like punishes or really bullies anything in the metagame right now. So I might just not see it at all. Play double Mauvrians, guys. Make a Rune Chan and pass. Interesting. They do play cards that cost 0. There's not a ton of them. Most of the time they lead on them, but I'm going to Arsenal the Brain Freeze here and see what happens. I don't know that... I mean, I think it's better than Frosting, if you want the truth. Brain Freeze is not exactly what I would call a good card. So... And while Frosting does technically do more damage than Brain Freeze, like I think the idea of being able to disrupt their hand seems a little bit better to me than anything else. Plus, if I can disrupt their hand right here, and I can come in for 13, which is what this hand provides me the ability to do, I'm all about it. So we put Lead to Charge on top. I mean, their turn just can't be that impressive here. Plus, if I take some damage here, I'm automatically in a better spot for my Wounded Bull actually being for 8. Yeah, right now I'm just straight up racing them. We're going to put this on the bottom. I would rather see the Ether Ice Vein before I would rather see the Frosting. So they'll go to 31, and then I'll come in for 8. Like, there's just so much value in these plays. Now, my opponent realizes that they go down 7 here to have a free turn to be able to kind of like pop off a little bit, which is a little scary. It is tough. So that's the only downfall of those hands is while I threw 13 points at my opponent, like they kind of get to have like free run here because they know I'm not going to pop Storm Striders this early in the game. So red Mavrian Skies. So this is another time that we're faced with a tough decision. I think I'm going to take the Rune Chant here. And maybe that's incorrect of me. But I like blocking with Frosting, pitch Cold Snap to play Wounded Bull, and then have Hypothermia up to be able to shut down one of their turns. I think that puts us in a very good position. Oh, they're playing Tunic this time. I just realized that. I just assumed that they were on Ironweave again. One of the things that I find really interesting about Iyslander is that if you play against Iyslander, it honestly kind of doesn't really matter who you play against. Yeah, we'll take both the Rune Chants here. And this is going to be for 4, I assume, with the rest of the mode. So I go to 23, and then I'll take 5 and go to 18, and then I'll serve 8. Yeah, this is fine. Is that even if you play against if you play against Iyslander, if you're going to ProQuest and you play against Iyslander one round and then you play against Iyslander another round, each game will be different because there are so many nuances and different lines inside of Iyslander that you never know what you'll get. So I think everybody plays the deck a little bit differently. One of the guys that hangs out in my chat, Sir Smurfington, he plays Iyslander a lot, and I always watch his streams, and we always make very different decisions. And I don't really know that it's just as easy to point and say that somebody is intuitively wrong or somebody's intuitively right, because I watch him win a lot, and I win a lot when I play the deck. So I don't really know that, one is right or one is wrong. But I don't know. It's always interesting to watch other people play Iyslander, or even just within my testing group, to hear what other people have to say when I'm playing Iyslander, because I feel like it really shows. The deck really shows you the amount of nuance and intricacy to the deck because of just how hard it is to play. Well, knowing that they're going to block with 3 cards, keeping the Hypothermia is very bad here. I mean, I don't mind keeping my hand here because it allows me to push a very solid amount of damage on my turn. I get to pose them with the question, do you want to let me freeze your arsenal, or would you like to pitch a card on your turn? I mean, they could always just use the Tunic here, but if they want to use Tunic, that's fine with me. It is a very good resource for our opponent. They could have a very resource awkward hand and be forced into a weird position. So they pitched Malverian Skies. I'm going to send 7, gain a life here, and then I still have Waning Moon afterwards. So our opponent goes to 15 because they'll prevent one with the one they have. And then we have Hypothermia to like shut their turn down. Mordred Tide is not great for us. God, and this does have go again? That's unfortunate. What are we doing? Like, what does my turn look like? Am I pitching Ether Hell to try and get an Insidious Chill into play? Like, or I'm sorry, I'm pitching Ether Hell here if I'm not blocking with it. So I pitch Ether Hell to prevent 3 Rune Chance, get a counter on Constellus. And then I could pitch Frosting to... I could block with Frosting, or I could pitch it to prevent Rune Chance. I should probably pitch Insidious Chill here. Like, my play should probably be pitch my cards and then just keep one of my cards to activate Coronet Peak here. I think that's the correct play, is to just... They make 2 Rune Chance because of the Mordred Tide. I'm going to throw the Frosting here. I mean, this has natural go again, so there's no reason to play the Hypothermia. In fact, it's just wrong to play the Hypothermia. They could just, like, pitch their card and come in with Thorn, in which case I would pitch the... So they're going to use Tunic here. Well... So I can take 2 Rune Chance. So I can take 6, go to 11, stop their turn, and then use Ice Eternal for Coronet Peak, and then Ether Hail them on their turn to try and set something up. So they're not going to be able to attack with anything else after this. They have an Arsenal, so I think the Coronet Peak is worth more than Prevent 1 and Waning Moon them. Or is it? I don't know. Prevent 1 and Waning Moon them feels pretty good here. Like, that seems pretty solid to me. And then I'm just going to go to 12, and then I'm going to have them join us at 12. I mean, if we're constantly walking the life totals down like this is really good, because they can't use Tunic to prevent AB here. I mean, oh, they're just going to prevent all 3? Okay. I would have thought that would have been a card they would have wanted to Arsenal there, but I have been wrong before. So I just made the gruel mistake that I often talk about my opponents doing, where I drop my card on the table. So this is tough. The Frostbite won't really make a difference here, so I should just wait because they have Tunic up. So I have the ability to turn 2 resources into 5 points, which is very above rate. I will prevent 1. We'll then turn around, use the Constellus to do 3 points to our opponent, And then I'm going to use the one resource I have floating to block with Ironhide Gauntlet here. I could also block with, so I take 5, go to 6. I mean, I have Coronet Peak to block with next turn if I need it. I'm also going to go Scar for Scar into 7 here. So me doing this guarantees that, well, I mean, even if I blocked with the Peak, I would have had Go again. I guess I can't guarantee I'm going to gain a life here, but it is pretty probable that they'll throw a card here, I imagine. I can't imagine that they're just going to say, I'll go to 6. If they do, I'd be very surprised by that. So this is best case scenario for us because they take damage and we still get to gain a life. So we go to 7 and we're not presenting lethal, so they can go to 1 if they want, but going to 1 against a deck that plays Storm Striders is extremely dangerous. Going to 1 against a deck that can kill you on your own turn is just extremely dangerous. Like, so we even the life total up and they have 1 card. That feels pretty solid. Sheesh! This hand's not good. This hand is not good at all. Oh, boy. They're just going to play this and pass. So I think I'm just over pitching with the Ether Ice Veins here to come in for 7. Like, which kind of sucks because it means that I probably won't see a yellow Ether Ice Vein like the rest of the game. But there are... Have I seen a red one yet? I don't think I've seen a red one. This has been a lot of attacks so far this game. Okay. So, Hypothermia does nothing here. I mean, I've got to block all the Rune Chants. Well, all of them but 1. I'd rather put Channel Like Frigid back into my deck than I would not. So he does not make 1, and then there's 6 physical. I can just cover this up and stay at 6. I mean, I can't take it. I guess I could go Coronet Peak, take 4, go to 2, and then I get to serve 7. That also feels like a non-winning... I mean, I can block 6 or I can serve 7, so serving 7 is better. Now, the only problem with this is that I am at 2. And my opponent has AB2 after this, so it's going to be harder to kill them this time around because they have AB2. After they popped Quillhand last time, they only had AB1. So I was in a spot where I needed to find like 8 points. And now instead of having to find 8, I have to find 10. Alright, they're at 5. I mean, their turn can't be great here. Like, their turn can only be so many things here. And I do have the ability to Waning Moon them. Okay. Revel, Lead the Charge, Shrill. I'm going to pitch Polar Blast. So I know they have Shrill in their hand. and I can 7 them, right? Because we know that they took Shrill, so they're playing this, which means they only have Shrill, which means... Oh, we don't even have to actually... And then if they do have something, I can use the other 2 to prevent Arcane. Yep, and then they die to the Scolding. Nice. This feels like a hard matchup for Viserai. Like, I don't even, like, shy away from that. This just feels like a hard matchup for Viserai. I finished the game at 2 and 9.11. I mean, like, just won a game where my opponent was playing Viserai and my opponent had AB3 and they had Tunic, and it just wasn't enough for them to keep, like, push the tempo against us. I don't know. It just feels like it says a lot for Viserai going into, like, it feels like it says a lot for Viserai's Iyslander matchup, because we've been testing Dorinthia into Iyslander, and one of the things that we're finding is that Dorinthia just can't play through Iyslander's disruption enough. That she needs to be able to prevent damage, and so we were trying Dorinthia with AB3 and Tunic, and that's the closest. Me and Blake split games doing that. We went 2-2 doing that, and the 2 games we played where he had AB1, I'm 2-0, like, and it didn't even really feel close. So now this is going to be a tough matchup. Dash is hard, but it can be done. Hi and good luck, Briar Dash. I'm always intrigued that he takes out Sink Billows in this matchup. Like, always kind of baffles me a little bit. So in my list, I'm actually playing 2 Blizzards and 3 Hypothermias. I haven't swapped from his list yet. I don't own a 3rd Blizzard, so I'm playing a 3rd Hypothermia in my list. I actually like the 3rd Hypothermia better. Hypothermia is actually very good in a lot of matchups right now. And I think having the 3rd one is a lot better than the 3rd Blizzard personally. So that's something that we haven't changed. And it's worth noting that having the 3rd Hypothermia would be very good right here. I assume my opponent chose to go first. It's like I didn't see, though. And my opponent starts with Chamber. Okay. Oh, wow. And they have Spark on turn 1. That's pretty good. I was like, they're probably going to get a Teklo Pounder. Most people would go get a Teklo Pounder there unless you're Control Dash. If you go get a Purifier there, it just signals to me that you're Control Dash. Don't really have a great option here. I could pitch Polar Blast to play Ether Hell and then pitch Wounding Bull to come in with Wounded Bull. I think I'm just in better shape to pitch the Polar Blast and come in with Wounded Bull here, and then Arsenal the Ether Hell here. And depending on my hand, we could have a pretty decent comeback hand here. We need to see an early Channel Lake, early Hypothermia, early taxing effect is really what I'm looking for in this matchup. So another Wounded Bull is extremely awkward. I think I'm just going to block 5 here. And just... So the option is I can pitch Ice Eternal to play Ether Hell. And then I can Waning Moon, which is 5 damage and a Frostbite. And then I get to block 2. So I get to have 7. And then I still get to serve 8. And then I get, yeah, I think that's my best play. It does not feel great not blocking on an 8 here, but it is by far my best play, is to... I get to turn my hand into a 7-point hand. So I take 6, go to 30 here. Wonder why they didn't prevent 1. That was weird. My opponent should be at 36. So that's already 1 point my opponent lost. If they realized they weren't going to do something, they should have just... Like, they should have just blocked that there. Huh. Well, we've already seen all 3 Wounded Bulls, which is not great. Like, you don't want to see more than 1 in a hand. The only attacks that you are okay seeing with multiple in a hand is you want to see, like, you want to see a go again attack. You want to see a Scar for a Scar or an E-Strike paired with a Wounded Bull or a Fighting Spirit or something like that. Those make for very good hands. I'm curious to see if they throw 2 cards here and block again. I mean, them blocking efficiently on my attacks is the best way for them to win the game, in my opinion, as a dash player, because, like, your heart is just free. Like, the 3 block that you get from heart, I will throw those on the first attacks you throw at me. I straight up will, because I think that it makes the most sense and it's the most efficient. Oh, really wish I could punish this. Alright, so this is going to be for 8. So I can block E-Strike, Brothers in Arms, Frost Hex, and block 8. Or I have the option of Pitch, Frost Hex, block with Brothers in Arms, Cold Snap, and Ironhide Gauntlet. But if I block the 8 with the 3 cards on the right, then I have the option to Arsenal my Cold Snap next turn, and I think that's better. I'm inefficiently blocking with the Brothers in Arms, but if I had Tunic here, this would make my turn a lot easier. But, you know, doesn't always pan out that way. The more my opponent wants to activate Heart, the better I am with it, because they just run out of cards faster. Well, I mean, it's a pretty good follow-up. Like, you had an 18-point turn. Like, when Dash has those 18-point turns, like, it's hard for you to win the game, at least in my experience. I'm going to use Tunic here and play Cold Snap. The Frostbite isn't for nothing. If they want to activate Heart, they'll have to pitch another card here. So it is worth mentioning. They get a Frostbite, we draw a card. They banish the blue Zipper hit. Need him to banish more reds than this. I mean, I guess them banishing blues, like, helps us out with the idea of being able to push arcane damage, but the way to win the Dash matchup is to just, like, walk the life totals down. And if you're walking the life totals down, then you're in control of the game. The problem is where they, like, last turn they had an 18-point turn. I mean, they played 3 red cards, so it's not bad for my opponent. They definitely pushed a lot of damage there, and I think the Cold Snap is worth keeping. Is the game lagging? I was like, normally when something's happening like this, there's lag and I'm not aware of it, which I hate because my opponent sits there going, what the heck are you doing? So this turn I have the ability to I can block Ice Eternal Emeritus Scolding, and then I can go Scar for a Scar into 5 draw card. Yeah, I mean, I have to go to 14 here to do it, but I have to try and serve something back. Like, I have to try and like start playing offense at some point. Dash is one of those matchups where, like, you know how like I mentioned earlier, like I was winning games that I felt like I shouldn't, like, and I was winning games where I felt like I was crawling back out of a dumpster from nowhere, like we're losing and things aren't feeling good, and I'm just winning the game, like, and then this is just like, this is not one of those matchups in my opinion where you can do that. But let me rephrase. It's not easy to crawl out of the dumpster and win the game in this matchup because Dash blocks your arcane spells very efficiently, and that can be very tough. I do like pitching Heart to get the Insidious Chill into play. Curious to see what they choose to do here. Target attack lost and can't gain go again. I can block 3, take 1, and then the turn ends. I can pitch Heart to go back up to 14 to play Insidious Chill here. Getting Insidious Chill into play is very important. What is this hand? This is the hand of woulda, coulda, shoulda, because we have no way to disrupt them, and they're about to just go ham. Like, if we weren't down 14 points, I would say, hey, like, this is a good hand because we get to serve 15 points and gain a life here, but I don't think that's going to be the case. We're probably blocking 4. God, this is so bad. I mean, if I can, I'll see what they do. If I can stay alive here, this is the kind of hand that will try to crawl us back into the game. We'll go to 6. I think I might need to block with Peak here, so I'm just going to give them Peak because it keeps me at 5. They're just going to pistol me to 3. You're going to pistol me to 1. All right, well, if this is where I lose, this is where I lose. I mean, I like... Tunic rolls up. Our hands have been very awkward this game. We have not seen a channel Mount Heroic, or I keep saying Heroic, but I haven't seen a channel Lake Frigid, and I have not seen a Hypothermia yet. So those are all things that are not good for us. And the problem is that they have pistol. They can just like throw basically infinitely at us. Even if they don't block here and they go to 16, it's still 16 to 2, and I have a massive hole to try to climb out of. Well, there's that Ether Ice Vein I needed. It's just a little too late. Let's see what they do here. If they just take 3 or how they react. It'll tell us a lot based off of their hand. So they prevented it and did that. Probably shouldn't have Waning Moon there. Because if I don't Waning Moon, I can use my resource to block 2 here. They give go again. It's probably better just to block with the Ice Vein here as opposed to putting it back in the deck for Gauntlet. I'd rather save Gauntlet for a turn, for like this turn, because I will have a resource floating around. If I come back and win this game, it's crazy. Lived and keep Ice Vein if you didn't Waning Moon if you use a resource to block with a Gauntlet. Yeah, so I could have blocked with a. I realized that after I did it, I could have blocked with a Gauntlet, and I could have blocked with a Tunic to stay at 1, and then I would have had Ice Vein with Channel Lake Frigid and Arsenal. Would have been a lot better. So we're gonna put this into play. Well, we're going to reveal both our cards. They'll probably add Hypothermia to the chain. Not that it matters. I'm going to block with the Insidious Chill too. No way to keep Channel Lake Frigid now? Yeah, no, I mean, Channel Lake Frigid was more of like a desperation, like Hail Mary attempt at a game here than it was anything else. So we played Blizzard, we give them a Frostbite, force them to make a decision here. So they paid 2. We're going to block 6 here. Oh, Lord. Well, we'll block with Cold Snap here. They'll give go again. And then we'll block with the Tunic because it's the only choice we have. To stay at 1. We'll pass to our opponent, see what they do. I mean, Amulet of Ice, like having a no block in our hand is like really bad. I am sure that somewhere along the way I made a grave mistake. I'm not sure what that was sitting here off the top of my head, but I'm sure I did somewhere along the way. I think the turn that I went down to 1. So I'm actually very intrigued that they're going for break. That they're going for break this year, because I just don't think that's correct. Like, I don't know that. Like, maybe they think getting all the cards out of my hand is correct, but I don't know. That was an interesting decision by my opponent. Yeah, that game was not a good one. That was not a good one. I just played poorly that game. Which, I mean, I've been doing nothing but playing Iyslander for like the last like couple weeks, so I feel like I'm bound to have games like that where I just play sloppy and I just lose because of it. Because Dash is something I've played against quite a bit in our testing in the team's testing, and I feel like the games have been a lot closer than that. So either way, all right, guys, I think that's going to be it for the day. I kind of feel a little like worn out, a little fatigued of playing Iyslander a little bit, so I'm going to take a little bit of a break, just lay around. Thanks for hanging out today, guys. I appreciate you guys coming by and keeping me company. I will be back tomorrow afternoon, going to the gym in the morning, and then I'll be back. So if you want to come hang out, I'll see you then, and if not, I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out, guys.